quick video about using the modes in your blues again. Last time we talked about C sharp Locrian or Locrian going to C Lydian. But of course you could think, if you know your modes across the neck, like in all 3-note per string positions, you can kind of just play up and down the neck, and it's all the same idea. You're taking a C or you got a C sharp and a C, and that is on the one. And like here on a Mixolydian, you want to target that third and smear the C natural into the C sharp, but still you kind of really nice up there. So that's actually that's kind of a nice A Mixolydian type idea. That's all for the one. Then you go to the 4. Bam. There it actually would be kind of a Dorian. But there the bluey note is the F to the F sharp, which is there and there. There's the tritone. Here we're on the 5. It's got a G to G sharp. And I guess I'm not being too strict about my fingerings. Like if you're doing it like that, you could use that finger or slur it. Doesn't really matter, right? If you know where your notes are. You're thinking about the notes, not the fingers, really. A lot of notes. And that is a good point you brought up in the lesson, which I don't think we actually did that. We'll take a minute to catch up on that. That's A mixo to A Dorian to A major scale. So it's all this play of C natural to C sharp and G natural to G sharp and F to F sharp, which is kind of the least effective one, but you just need it for that buttery but the one we actually looked at in the lesson, but this one anyway, if you talk about this one, it lines up with this A minor pentatonic position. Thingy. And then well, let's actually keep moving up and talk about the next one, which is here we're kind of on the 9th and playing Aeolian mode. We're in. So the interesting thing is our C sharp is there, and when you start fooling around with it like that, it gets pretty nice to play. You get that juggling effect where if you played it all in a row, there's no tonality to it, but if you enclose it, that's called an enclosure, by the way, where you play one note on one side and another note on the other side, and then you can do those on all notes. But in blues, yeah, it's common to enclose the blue note. So that creates a ripple in your scale. So rather than going like that, you've got, there's the C sharp there. So really this is the 9th, which you can start on, but probably in the bass that might be more of a and the disregard that last lick. So that would be more of the nice thing. And I think, you know, I think I said this last video, try to descend. You know, descending just sounds more like music you would play. And the A7 that's in this position is this guy. And you get the freebie inversion where you're going like, you're taking the C sharp from the top string and putting it in the bottom string. You get that nice thing. So this kind of encapsulates that kind of version of the chord. Boo. And that, there you go. A bit of a no man's land, and then when you go to the 4 chord, you're kind of in this zone. Which inverts to that. We got the 7th in the bass, which is really jazzy. And then the 5th chord, I guess you could think like that, or yeah, if that's parallel. What else is there? Oh, of course this. Yeah. I like those. And then we also talked about, yeah, it is a lot of notes, and those are good for really nice fast playing, but you can combine them with the pentatonic here, which is this version of A minor, which seems like a C major pentatonic. So you're just you're able to it's just all the same thing as you're kind of dominating down here. Now you can do it in fingers fall in different places. You're in a different area of the neck. So if you're thinking of that as your basic shell, I think of it as a C major, but it's also, of course, A minor. You can smear that C to C sharp vibration. And so there I kind of played the D7 and E7. That was mixing the E7, you know, that and that with the so there I play the pentatonic and just get that nice G sharp, get that modal note. So don't be thinking, I mean, we know this is the funny thing, and we mentioned it in the lesson, like there's 3 note per string modes all around the neck. If you know that, and then you know your pentatonic boxes all around the neck, they overlap it. You know, they're 2 different systems and different way of fingering, different ideas, but you can overlap them, and especially if you're thinking of the general idea of smearing a C to a C sharp and a G to a G sharp and a F to an F sharp, or what the hell, a E flat to an E, the blues note. If you use those 3 things together, you can you can seamlessly combine, because you don't want to play all modes. You don't want to play all pentatonics. So you're just kind of, you're juggling them. And the modes are good for, well, Chuck Berry uses them for that type of sound. It's when you want a lot of notes. And when you want fewer notes, go pentatonic. And yeah, that's the thrust of the lesson. So yeah, this week's playing homework, work on this position. And then also this, I don't think we did much of that in the lesson. It's what we should have done, but just make sure you're caught up on that. And the interesting thing is you're kind of focusing around this A. Previously in the blues box, you had it on the ring finger, but now you're getting it on this finger. Oh, and we also talked about these buttery little scales where you're going. I mentioned it because it's right at the, you're in this box, the B.B. King box. Now on top of that, you can do these little, I actually have a video about these. I call them the butter scales, actually. And what that is a major pentatonic on 2 strings, but you're flattening the third. And that works over every chord. And even the 5. So it's, and the thing that's nice about it is it just travels around. It's a 2-string pattern, and it encompasses a diminished chord, a half diminished chord, or you can think of it as an A minor 6 as well. And okay, and you can fill those notes in. So that was the other thing, and I just mentioned that as an offhand because that happens to line up with a bunch of stuff here. This is the B.B. King box. It's kind of around a C chord, like. But now you can do this little sliding guy that I think, I don't know much about Derek Trucks, but I think I hear that kind of sound, and vocalists use that a lot, like you're just flattening that third. So okay, that's all we really covered. If it's a little extra, make sure you look at this box. We should have done this mix-up thing, because that lines up with this chord really. Yeah, I'm not the most disciplined. It's hard for me to stay in one position. I think a lot of guitar players, I've heard, like, I know John Scofield has said it's hard to just stay in one position. Like, you just naturally go to the next one. And I think there's different ways of playing. Like, you can try to be disciplined and stay in one position and just be really focused. But I'm not like that at all. I like to be moving around and switching positions when I switch chords. But you gotta, I don't know, there's a balance to be struck. But it's fun to move around the neck and not be stuck in just in this A bar chord. There's all kinds of, see there, I worked into that BB box. And then you get, I don't know. So this is kind of playing for moving around a lot, and cool. That's what we covered.